Welcome back to Geek Feng Shui. I'm your host and game master, Bob Sellers Jr. As usual, we're going to start out with a shout out to our friends at Under Pressure Brewing up in Golden Valley, which is up by the Twin Cities here in Minnesota. Great place, completely pet friendly, great brews, Dark Ages themed. Check them out. The Hot Passport, they were listed in 2025, but it's also linked in the details as they are. A wonderful place to visit and just hang out with friends. Check out South by Southeast in beautiful Pine Island, which is near here in Rochester, Minnesota. A great place with great people. Check out Games and More here in Rochester, a great place for gamers to pick up cards and other paraphernalia for different types of gaming that you might be interested in. Check out Cooley Cards and Gaming in the mall here in Rochester. They carry sports for the physical sports as well as the gaming sports, as well as used cards, new cards, and a fun place to come and play if you're going to play Commander or whatever you're going to play. And of course, Midwest Vintage Toys or Vintage Rules. Now you may wonder why you don't see anything about Chaotic Good. Well, unfortunately, we had to close our doors. The debts that the owners had built up just became too much of a burden. While our business was taking off and our local folks were visiting and things were getting better, it's just sometimes a flood is just too much of money owed versus what we're managed to bring in to cover. We had a good run. We had good people, a good venue, a good setup with menus and food, and wonderful, wonderful place and people, but debts were just overwhelming, and unfortunately, they just took us down. So we're done with that. Check out my books at sellersjr.com, my overall website at geekfengshui.com, and this channel, which we appreciate if you like, subscribe, and setting up the bell. Now, this video is going to be a little different in the sense that I am going to be talking about something I will not have a video of, but I'll have several linked down below, and that is Magic the Gathering. Yes, I took the plunge. I have gone into the dark fun of competitive card playing with Magic, in particular Commander. Now, when you go into Magic the Gathering, there are different options. You can buy decks of cards or you can buy Commander decks. The difference lays in how they're played with one another. The regular Magic is 60 or more cards that you can play 1 versus 1. Commander, you get limited to 99 cards plus your commander, so 100 cards. They have different themes. In this case, I focus, or I'm going to be focusing on the Duskmourn House of Horror. Now you might ask what all is in that. Well, as you can see in the background here, there's 4 decks. I have 3 of them and a duplicate of 1 of them, so I have 4 decks, but I do not have the most expensive deck. I'll show that one in a minute. The reason I have the 4 is that way I'll have a kit, so if 4 people or 3 other people come over and want to play, well, we got decks to play, and I am planning as I learn to play of doing what I would have done with chess or checkers or something else like that, where you play solitaire. I'll have 2 mats. There's 2 mat options that I went with. One is the Black Lotus, which is the most expensive card supposedly in Magic. I do not have it. I thought it was cool since I'm a Viking fan. It's purple. It comes with the dice and a protective sleeve for the mat. It also has the zones and the rules for playing when you do your turn. So that's kind of helpful for a novice like myself. As a secondary one, I got one with the dragon that also has the zones, but does not come with dice or a protective tube, which I'll have to fashion one. I'll start with a couple of the decks here. Each deck will have at least 1, if not 2, legendary creatures, which can be your commanders. What happens with a commander is they kind of sit out the battle while everything else is done while you're playing. Several of the videos linked down below in the details will talk about that. In this case, I call one the Zamone deck with Kian. I don't know how you pronounce Kian. And there's setup. There's a link down below that has a helpful link of what cards are supposed to be in the deck, because when I bought them and put together, I ended up with more than 100 cards, only to realize that, yeah, you get a couple extra cards. If you're not paying attention, they'll have too many on the checklist. tells you what should be in the deck versus what is there. Now you can supplement it, I suppose, but I don't want to get in trouble if I'm playing with someone and said, hey, you corrupted that deck. But this is the jump scare commander deck for the Duskmourn. This one is the Miracle Worker deck, Eminentu and Master of Keys. Going back to this one, I'll show you at the top to pay attention to. The top right of each card has a number which you can figure out as you get to learn the game, but there's two colors, in this case green and blue. That means you need those types of lands to build mana. Now if you go to the jump scare, or the Miracle Worker, excuse me, you have three colors. You have white, blue, and black, which means you'll need the appropriate lands when you're playing to build mana for that deck. Now the next one is an expensive one, which I do not have at the moment, but I'm going to be building a white and red deck out of another commander, which is a clown. I did that because I was a clown with the shrine for 10 years, so I thought that was appropriate to build a clown deck. But this one is black and red. And this is the other one I have called, I call it the winter deck, which is black and green, so that they are appropriate lands for that place. And theoretically, you could switch your legendary creature out to have one as a commander for a game with the other. I'm not exactly sure yet if that is appropriate or not, but as I understand, you can. It's a lot of fun getting into it. You meet a lot of neat people. This deck just intrigued me enough, and it was inexpensive. And I have bought a lot of what they call booster packs. You'll see that down in the lower left and right of the background there, which is also going to be the thumbnail. So yeah, you trolls out there say you don't do a lot of work for backgrounds or thumbnails. Yeah, you do. Well, some people don't. I just happen to enjoy making up the thumbnails as well as the background details. The model I use on the left is what I call the Troll Queen. And early on, I was doing my World of Warcraft videos. When I used her, she got the most constipation from the trolls, which led me to lock down the comments so that I had to approve them to appear, because it was crazy. It was naive and foolish to understand what and why they fixated on her with all the other models I use, but they did. So I'm lawful evil, and they want a queen, I'll give them to her. And I have the other character, you can't see her so well. That's another character by the model I use for my models in my books. But anyway, yeah, on the lower left and right there, you'll see booster packs. There's collector's packs you can get as well. Collector's packs may have commanders in them that the booster packs do not, but you can collect different lands and other cards that you can swap out. With the red and white deck that I'm going to be building, I'm following a list that I've linked down below, and I'll have a list I've conglomerated of what lands I should have. I may not have all the cards specific to those lists, but it'll give me a gray deck to try out on people to see how it plays. The one thing to understand with this card game, it's a play to win. It's no different than cribbage or poker or any of these other games, except that sometimes people take the play to win, much like PvP players take it in World of Warcraft, to an extreme that is kind of unnecessary. There's links down below to players to watch out for. There is the ability with certain cards to end the game in one play. It has and can be done. That takes the fun out of it. The idea that a lot of casual players, such as myself, are there just to play and say, hey, let's see how this does, or if I play this. You shuffle your deck, and it takes a lot of practice, because you buy protectors for the cards to protect them, which makes it intriguing to try to shuffle at the least, because when you start to play, you shuffle each other's decks to make sure they're shuffled. There's rules. I bought a book I have on my electronic bookshelf I'm reading on, and I'm doing and watching a lot of videos, so there will be more to come. There's a lore video series that I will be showing. I'm going to get permission from the YouTuber that put it together just to have this, you might call a reaction video, I guess. They're linked down below if you want to go see them. And I thought I would just update the channel what I'm doing now that I'm no longer involved with the brew pub, and spend time back here doing stuff that I really enjoy versus having to do as part of a fun job. Um, I had a lot of fun running the brew pub. It was a job I paid to do for free, and I had great people to work with as my team. I think we made an impression very positively on the community, and we will miss them as much as they miss us. Um, in the future, someone either may buy the brew pub or the bank may take it over, and we may have an opportunity to run it for them. Who knows? The future is as the future is. And if you watch Big Bang Theory and you know Sheldon Cooper, he'll tell you there's only one of a million different variations of a future that could spin off. But yeah, if you get a chance to look at Magic the Gathering, it's not a necessarily cheap thing to take up. You will find events where they unload or open new decks and new things, and they can get kind of pricey. There's a trading thing. The good news is there's people who have decks of cards from 10 years ago that still play. You don't have to keep up with the Joneses to play. If you're playing for fun, it's a whole different ballgame than if you're in a tournament. Tournaments have their problems. I equate it to somewhat like barbecue smoking. You can be smoking home for fun for your family. You can compete, or you can get into really high-powered competitions. I've been fortunate that I managed to learn how to be a barbecue smoker and become a pit master, and I've won trophies in competitions, but I have not competed in the high dollar, high profile competitions simply because they're very expensive to get into. There are ways that people get into these competitions, particularly with Magic. It's like any card game in Vegas. They will find ways to cheat and do, but it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. People just can't take the fact they can't win by just playing. It is a randomness when you're playing your deck. So I'm looking forward to the fun of it. I thought I would give an update and share what I'm going to be doing for fun with the House of Horror. It just struck me as a neat deck series to check out and learn how to play. And I hope you get a chance to go out and look it up yourself, or if you're out and you see an event, go sit and learn from people. It's an eclectic group. When I was growing up, back before computers, and yes, I'm that old, I remember the days of being in the AV department and getting laughed at, because back then we were the geeks. Well, nowadays, with the geeks and the nerds and whatever have you, a lot of people play these games, and it's not as well understood as people who play physical sports. One of my favorite memories from the brew pub was when we had Dungeons and Dragons nights, which is another game that eclectic players play of all different levels of age or whatever interest rate you have of it, interests, I should say. But anyway, there was a young man, the parents came in and brought him to play, and they sat and enjoyed the night and kind of supported him, which to me was kind of warmed my heart, because you always talk about people supporting their kids in sports such as football, baseball, and others, which I fully encourage. If you have a child doing anything, even in ballet or track or speech or anything else that they can be there for them. Sit and watch them and encourage them. And if they're a gamer and like Magic, encourage them there. I mean, it's a little different when you're playing online games such as World of Warcraft and even other ones that I have played, Diablo and such, because you're not really in a place where your parents would sit and watch, because it is not as involved as Magic can be. But yeah, just bear in mind that there are going to be sad players that make the game uncomfortable for everyone else, because Commander can be played 2 or 1v1, 3v1, or 4v1. Don't know if you can be more than 4. It gets to be kind of a conglomeration if you do that. Another reason I have the 4 decks is if I'm somewhere and say, hey, I'd love to play, I might not have a deck, what do I do? And I have an extra mat, and we can sit and play, or I can go somewhere and try out different things. And you can get custom mats. So for example, this background, I may at some point get onto a playmat with the play zones on there, just to be kind of cool. It's also a great gift idea if you know somebody who plays Magic the Gathering, is to come up with a background that they will appreciate. I put this background together myself, utilizing different graphics, as I've done with other thumbnails. Most of my thumbnails are not my backgrounds. This one happens to be, but they are the size where they could be if I wanted them to be. But anyway, If you're interested, check out the links down below and you'll find some historical references as well as videos on what to avoid, what it involves, how to play. If you're uber curious, you can go into your local card player place and they may have a spare deck that you can sit down and play with people, or people there may have a spare deck that you don't have to buy. You can just sit down and play and they'll have it all set for you. And they'll walk you through it. I witnessed at the brew when we did our Magic, there was 3 people and somebody that was probably a step ahead or 2 of me of playing, but I've done a lot more. I do a lot more research before I jump in. I don't just sit down and play it. And they were very patient, and he ended up buying a deck, and it's a slow pace of getting into it. But anyway, it's a unique way to make friends. It's like poker night, or if you had a cribbage night, and it's going to be competition. So anyway, if you know of somebody who plays, you can now ask questions after you watch some of the videos, and perhaps go join them and watch them and say, hey, do you have an extra deck? You can teach me how to play. It's a fun way to play cards. And yes, you can get carried away. There are people that spend thousands of dollars or more on buying stuff. And there's people that are scalpers, and there's people that will sell you cards that are packs that have been opened. And if for every 10 good people, there's going to be 1 or 2 bad eggs. So it's like anything else. Just bear that in mind and look before you leap and accept what you're getting. And if you go into a game and you lose, like I've always said, when I go into barbecue competition, I check to see how many people are there. And if there's 10 people, I'm guaranteed 11 plays. If you go into a 4-game Magic the Gathering Commander game and you get knocked out, hey, I was there to play. Didn't win, but I had fun. That's the end result. There's other people that if they don't win, they're not happy. And I just don't play that way. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this intro video, and check out the links down below. And I will have more going forward where I may show some videos of other people playing, so you get an idea. But I wanted to show you what I'm doing is I work my way away from World of Warcraft. I've given that up, and I'm going to be playing Guild Wars and Guild Wars 2. I'm going to be putting up some videos for that as well. Star Wars: The Old Republic. I'm getting back. I started over from scratch with that. And I'm having fun again with that, and more to come now that I have my free time back. I don't have to be taking care of business, as the song is. So anyway, have a good one. Be safe, and again, check out our friends at Under Pressure in Golden Valley, up by the cities, South by Southeast, and beautiful Pine Island. Check out Games and More here in Rochester, Minnesota. Check out Cooley Cards and Gaming if you're in the area. Check out Midwest Vintage and Toys. Check out other such places in your area to show support for a community that needs it. I mean, just walking in and talking to people, enjoying and walking around looking at stuff, it helps bolster people's opinions of the games and get stuff out. And if you're interested, check out my books at sellersjr.com. For some interesting reading. They're available in print or ebooks on Amazon. The link's also down below. The hot password is linked down below if you want to get into that. You get a chance to go visit different breweries and see what they were doing there. But with that, I will go back to your regularly scheduled program. And thank you for your time and patience, and have a great night.